Voluntaryist Academy is an educational platform dedicated to the principles of non-aggression, self-ownership, and the ethical philosophy of voluntarism. Here, we reject the mythology of political authority and embrace the timeless truth that all human interaction should be grounded in consent and moral integrity. Through rigorous study, in-depth courses, and accessible materials, Voluntaryist Academy equips individuals with the tools to critically examine the foundations of coercive systems and to replace them with voluntary, peaceful alternatives rooted in natural law. Whether you are new to these ideas or looking to deepen your understanding, Voluntaryist Academy provides a structured path to intellectual freedom, ethical consistency, and personal sovereignty. Welcome. Explore the curriculum, challenge false assumptions, learn to live free. So tonight I'm going to be airing an interview that I did with my friend Agnieszka. Agnieszka Evenson works with face and body reading as a practical way to understand human behavior and inner patterns. Drawing from psychosomatic therapy and years of teaching, she helps people recognize what their bodies are already communicating. Her work supports people in breaking free from limiting programming and stepping into greater self-leadership. Agnieszka works with face and body reading as a practical way to understand human behavior and inner patterns. Drawing from psychosomatic therapy and years of teaching, she helps people recognize what their bodies are already communicating. Her work supports people in breaking free from limiting programming and stepping into greater self-leadership. But before we can get to that interview, I want to tell y'all about the website. Voluntaristacademy.com is my website. Go there, check out past episodes, sign up to our newsletter. You can become a sponsor and support on a monthly basis and learn more about the benefits of becoming a sponsor. If you are interested in gathering some of the resources, some of the things that I read on the channel, go to the resources page and you'll be able to download all of the things that I've covered thus far on the channel, some things that I haven't covered on the channel, all which are documents and writings that aid in your ability to critically think. But like my friend Richard Grove says, literacy is just another form of slavery until a method of critical thinking is applied. So I implore you to read these and, come to your own conclusions about them. Challenge these writings. If you want to make a one-time donation to Voluntarist Academy, you can do so at the support page at voluntaristacademy.com/donate. And you can pick your own way forward to do so. Go to the onegreatworknetwork.com where you can find over 70 different content creators spreading the word about natural law, freedom, anarchism, voluntarism, holistic health, all sorts of different topics that are contra to the mainstream, contra to the narrative, contra to authority. Get autonomy. Getautonomy.info. If you click the banner on my website, that is an affiliate link, and you would be helping me out immensely. If you were to go and sign up for Richard Grove's autonomy course, tell them I sent you. Tell them James Cordiner sent you, and you'd be helping me out because it is an affiliate link. And you'd also be helping yourself out too. It's a 12-week course. There's actually bonus lectures, so it's about 15 weeks. But and it helps you learn to break free from more programming and to bring your ideas. If you have a project, if you have a business that you're trying to run, or if you're just trying to get to a better place of excellence in your heart and in your mind, check out Autonomy. Getautonomy.info and tell them I sent you. Coming up in February is the Funnel 5 Freedom Under Natural Law, FUNL conference, coming soon, February 21st and the 22nd of this year, 2026. Go to freedomundernaturalllaw.com. sign up to the newsletter to receive updates on the conference. I'll be giving a speech. Look, there I am. I'll be giving a speech titled Voluntaryism and the Fundamentals of Freedom. It's going to be a 1-hour speech on the topic, and I hope you all can get over there and check it out. There's many different speakers and presenters and that are going to be there. Brandon Martin, a friend, Leslie Powers, Will Keller, Chris Jansen. Some people I don't know. Look, David Rodriguez. A lot of people that have already been on the channel as guests are going to be speakers at this conference already. It's really awesome. And so, yeah, go check it out because, oh, look, Etienne de la Boissy squared. Sweet. Oh, those are from last year. Never mind. Okay, so I think that's all I have so far to to plug. I was planning on I was planning on doing another section of The End of All Evil by Jeremy Locke, but when my friend Agnieszka came and called me and asked me to host her, I couldn't say no. She has become undeniable, and I love her for that. So, and I hope you guys learned a lot from this interview, and I hope you guys go over to her website that I had it pulled up. It's ownyourbodylanguage.com. I'll show you her website right now. This is Agnieszka's website, ownyourbodylanguage.com, where you'll be able to learn more about what she has to offer and how it benefits you, even more so than what you're about to learn from watching this interview. So I'd like to thank everybody else once again for tuning in, for being here. And in case I don't see you on the other side, I really hope that you gain something out of this. So, without any further ado, Agnieszka Evenson. So we're here with Agnieszka Evenson, and I'm excited for this interview because I first met Agnieszka when I enrolled in autonomy back in 2 years now, almost 3, going on 3 years, and she was one of the first people to like really help me acclimate myself into the community, and she's become a good friend in the time since I've known her. And she's got a lot to teach us about body language and face and like reading faces and everything. And I think it's a very interesting subject. And I think that with this type of skill set, we could actually find ourselves in a much better place with, like, I don't know, maybe she can help clarify this, but I think, Agnieszka, that your skill set can actually help if more people learned your skill set, for instance, maybe it'd be harder to trick those people. But maybe you can answer that in a minute. First, please introduce yourself. Welcome to Voluntaryist Academy, Agnieszka.
Thank you very much, James. So my name is Agnieszka Evenson, and I've been studying human behavior and the interactions between humans literally all of my life. It's always what fascinated me. But I became a master psychosomatic therapist in 2014. And ever since then, I've been doing this on more professional level. You know, before, in the beginning, it was studying lore, studying the interactions. As a small child, I remember thinking that all humans were liars, all adults were liars. And the only way I can learn something is to read a book written by the ancestors because they were good. And now everybody's weird. And I don't know why I had that opinion. But since I've become a master psychosomatic therapist, since I studied psychosomatic therapy, I've realized that what I was feeling on an intuitive level and what I was seeing in people's faces is actually a thing. And you can definitely specify like in psychosomatic therapy, we take that feeling, that intuitive, like, oh, is this person lying to me? Or does this person think they're better than me? Like, where are they coming from? We can take that intuitive feeling and pinpoint it in the face and in the body, in the hands, in the feet. So there are different ways of reading the body and analyzing the body. And it's very interesting, and it's like a superpower.
Now, what exactly? All right, so what exactly does psychosomatic mean? What does that word mean?
So the word psycho has to do with psyche, with what's going on up here, and soma has to do with what's going on in the body. So psychosomatic is bringing the psyche and the soma together.
Interesting. Like a
Or
mind-body connection.
what's pertaining to both the psyche and the soma. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And you said something about the feet. Now, that's interesting. Please elaborate on that, like reading people from their feet.
So basically, what we do in psychosomatic therapy is everything is based on the chakra system. Well, there are two basic systems or core systems that we work with: the chakra system and also the micro expressions, as portrayed in some TV show, Lie to Me. And there was a scientist, Paul Ekman, who studied that. So micro expressions are the same all over the world. So if I do this, that means the same if I'm in the Amazon jungle, or if I'm in Africa, or if I'm in Asia. It's the same expression for every single human on Earth. So knowing what each expression means is an understanding why or what they're thinking. And the thing that Paul Ekman realized, or came out of his studies, is that when somebody's about to speak, they make a facial expression, a micro expression. They might make a grimace or a smile or something. And that is what pertains to their actual thinking about the thing that comes next. So somebody might go, oh, I really like her. And they don't, they're lying, because that is not, I like her. That is like, I don't like her. Actually, this is in psychosomatic therapy, it's an FU. So if you see that kind of pulling up the corners of the nose, that could mean that the person is like being standoffish.
So for people that are only listening to audio on this, it's like a scrunching of the face, right? Like they kind of,
pulling up the corners of the nose.
Yeah, and like kind of bringing the eyebrows down a little bit, like I see what you're doing.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So it's an interesting way of kind of detecting like some deception. What I'm picking up.
Yeah, absolutely.
What other benefits are there to kind of having your skill set in psychosomatic therapy? No, actually, I want to let you answer that, but I also want to get into like the second part of that. So psychosomatic, but the therapeutic aspect of it as well. But so instead of just, so obviously it's not just about deception and detecting that, but like what are maybe some of the positive things you can detect with psychosomatic skill set?
I mean, you can detect whatever feeling or emotion is running across a person's face, but at the same time, like, so I signed up for psychosomatic therapy because I wanted to know how the lady that I met at an intro night was doing what she was doing. And that's actually my mentor, Carol, on my website or on my YouTube channel. There are some interviews with her. And how did she know that thing? And the thing she said to me is like, oh, you're a warrior, but you've been holding yourself back and you're keeping your life mundane and you're not stepping up into your actual power, but you have a great power to do great things in the world and you want to take care of other people and you're not really allowing yourself to be who you are. And so that was when I first started my journey in psychosomatic therapy. And I was quite surprised, like, what does she mean I'm a warrior? And what does she mean I want to nurture the world? You know, how does she want, what? But in understanding certain things about yourself, there's great power. Because one thing I remember finding out through psychosomatic therapy is that I was giving a lot of power to the voice of my father or of my negative messages from my upbringing were replaying in my head and essentially controlling my life or how I was living, how I was making decisions. And so first, knowledge that these are voices from the past. This is not what you need to be worrying about. This is not for you. This message is not for you. It's not even in your voice. Listen to the voices in your head. Is it in your voice? Who is it? Who is it speaking to you? And then the second thing is like, you don't have to listen to it. Like this was your programming from your upbringing, your earliest memories, but that is not how you have to live for the rest of your life. And just finding that key to open the door and release all those monsters from my past to allow myself to live in my power. How's that for an answer?
That's a brilliant answer. It's awesome that there's this other method of kind of self-knowledge, like a pathway to self-knowledge that's going to allow people to kind of let go of that baggage, because there's a lot of it going around, a lot of baggage, and it's really tough. Some people have a really difficult time figuring out a way to let it go. Not to change gears too much, but is psychosomatic therapy at all related to Carl Jung's shadow work method?
Carl Jung is one of my favorite psychologists. So I'm sure that whatever I do is influenced by his work. I don't, in the list of books that Herman Muller, the founder of psychosomatic therapy, had, Jung is not one of those books. So even if he was influenced, if he read, I'm sure he read Jung, everybody would, but it's not a direct connection. Except for me, for myself, I'm very much influenced by Jung, and you've heard me talk about the excellent book by Gillette and Moore, King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, which is a male psychology book that explains. See, this is the key. This is one of the things that I teach in my courses that I don't think the other psychosomatic therapists teach. And there's very, very few people that actually teach psychosomatic therapy in the world. My personal mentor has retreats in Costa Rica that you can go to Costa Rica and take a 2-week course or a 10-day course. Herman Muller, the founder, has passed away in 2017. His wife and his daughter still continue work in Australia, but again, you have to go to Australia and stay there for 10 days or whatever. And the way I've taken the courses is I've done them, I've created the course online once a month on Zoom, so you can really get the same knowledge. And so the other thing that I teach, in addition to face reading and body reading and understanding what all the wrinkles mean and ears and hands. Oh, yeah. So the chakra system, you asked this earlier, and I didn't quite answer this. The chakra system repeats itself in the face, in the hands, in the feet, in the body. So when you see a certain thing, a certain tendency in the body, you can check that same area in the hand or in the foot or in the face, and it'll often give you the same kind of information.
What do you mean? What do you mean repeats itself?
So you have a chakra system in your body. So the root chakra is, where your near your tailbone, and then there's the sacral right above, and solar plexus and heart and throat, right? All of that in your body. But in your face, this is the root chakra. Your jaw is the root chakra. Your mouth is the sacral. Your nose is the solar plexus. And think about ego and solar plexus, right? People put their noses up other people's, that's all solar, that's all ego, right?
Right.
But like, think about how logically that connects, right? Your eyes are the window to the soul, so they're the heart chakra, and your eyebrows are the throat chakra, because you communicate with your eyebrows, and the rest are where they are.
Interesting. I never heard that concept before. I never heard that before. How would that work on your hand?
So on the hand, I always forget. Yeah, so this is the heart chakra, and this is the sacral, and the solar plexus is like in the middle. And then this is the throat right at the base of the fingers. And the other chakras are along the fingers. So the very, very tips is your crown chakra. See, I did it right.
Like, would it be like maybe like a diagram of the muscle and the muscles in the hand?
So the mounds in your hand are all the different chakras.
Okay.
You can see the areas. See, like the thumb area has this big base.
Yep.
So that's your love mound right there. And then this is the base chakra here. So
like right at the bottom of the hand where it meets the wrist.
You should come to the class and then I'll show you in detail.
I'll be right there. That is a very, very interesting concept. I'd never heard that. I never would have even ever put that together. I would have never even thought about that at all if not for you just saying that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
So one thing I wanted to add. So in my classes, I don't only teach how to read the faces, but I also teach how to take power back from those people who have taken over your mind. So that's the
right.
programming, the government, the news media, newspapers, magazines. There's programming from schools, from your bosses, from your parents, from your neighbors.
Yeah.
There's programming from every direction. Everybody's trying to tell you who to be and how to live. And you can never be a free human, an anarchist, a voluntarist who is not fully sovereign within. And that's why my courses are called Sovereign Body Language, because it's bringing the power back to you. And I give you specific tools on how to take that power back and how to use that power for yourself and not allow other people to make decisions for you, including the government.
That's an interesting. So let's draw a little bit more of a connection between what you're teaching and how it benefits. Is it simply just being able to detect deception? Is that
No,
no?
it's so much more. Like
Well,
to detect deception inside your own brain. Is there programming that's trying to deceive you to be someone you're not? It's how to identify the disempowering elements that are present in your narrative, in your inner narrative, and how to counteract them, how to stand up for yourself inside and say, no, we don't do that here. Thank you, but no, thank you.
so
So from knowledge, oh, you're allowing this to control you, to standing up inside your head and saying, no, let's no longer want to do that.
so sort of like detecting maybe like a prescribed belief and saying no, get out of here. I know what that is. That's not my own. That's not my own thought. That's not my own belief. That's not my own mode. And that was given to me or instilled in me by someone else, or it's not benefiting me, or whatever. And empowering you to be able to expel that.
But you know how insidious the programming is. So I've studied most of my life. I started with lore and legends, and then I took a bunch of other self-improvement courses. I took a coaching program, so I'm a professional coach, which was really huge, deep dive into who I am and how I interact with other humans. And then I took the psychosomatic therapy, which completely changed my life and changed the way I look and changed the way I look. Like not just I look at myself, but completely changed the way I look. In one of the intro sessions that we have the replays on YouTube, you can see my before and after pictures. And it's a huge, huge difference how I was holding my energy within myself. And then, with autonomy as well, standing up within myself and really stepping into my business and my power and allowing myself to make money in different exciting ways. But even now, even after all of these courses and all of this training, I still find little bits of programming in my brain that I picked up somewhere along the way. And I had no idea that I picked them up. I had no idea what I was doing. You know what I mean? And I can give you a specific example. A year or two ago, there were kittens. They came to my house, 3 baby kittens, really, really tiny, like this big. And there was a programming in my head that said, no. If you feed these kittens, there's going to be 50 tomorrow. This is, don't help these kittens. This is not, we don't do that. Just close the door and authority will take care of it. There will be an authority that will come and take care of these kittens. And so I was sitting at my desk and the kittens were scratching at my door and screaming bloody murder, please help us. And I was just, no, because I believed an authority will take care of it. And then I realized, you know what? This is not right. I'm not being a human right now. There are 3 babies of whatever species have come to my door specifically. They knocked on my door and they said, hey, can I have some food? I have food. I have plenty of food. And I'm saying no to them because I believe some authority will take care of them. and remove them from my doorstep for whatever, what to do what with them, you know, and where's that even coming from, and who's even said that, and why am I believing this, and is this really human, and is that what I really learned from all those lore books, all those legends and stuff that I studied most of my childhood? They would say the opposite. They would say the person with a pure heart helps everybody, and if somebody asks you for help, it is your duty and your diligence to help them. And I opened the door and I gave them food, and you know what, after a couple of days they were gone. They moved on. They didn't need me anymore. They just needed help for a couple of days. So it's all just control and programming. And what kind of an evil person would I be if I didn't feed these kittens?
Evil might be a stretch. I mean, it sounds like with the story you told, you were afraid that more kittens would show up. So it's like, if, you know, I don't know, maybe fear was the driving factor there. I don't know. What do you think about
But
that?
somebody told me that. I've never seen more kittens show up in my life.
Well, you
You know,
had three.
I've never experienced this. This is not from my
Yeah.
personal experience.
Yeah. But you did the right thing, you know, and ignoring the programming and coming into your own is a beautiful thing to be able to do. You know, whatever put that in your head, uh, takes a lot of strength, in my opinion, to ignore that and be like, no, like I have food. They're here right now. Like, you know, because of the
I believe
authority.
the
Yeah.
question that came to my mind was, and you call yourself human?
Well, then if the authorities show up, they just take them to like the animal control shelter or whatever and euthanize them. But you gave them food and energy enough to move on. And perhaps they, you know, who knows what happened to them next? We can imagine a ton of different scenarios. But I mean, for all we know, they got to a place where it's nice and warm and sheltered, and they're living a beautiful life now instead of one in
Yeah.
a cage or worse, you know, being thrown in a mass grave or some crazy shit like, excuse my language, some crazy stuff like that.
Well,
Um,
and also there is an ancient human tradition of helping those that knock on your door.
yeah,
You know, it's almost like a magical thing. You know, we talk about it, and when we talk about Christmas, you know, in Polish tradition, you put an extra plate for the visitor, the unknown visitor, and it's always Jesus Christ. So if like an old beggar comes, that's Jesus Christ in old beggar's clothes, and you feed them
right.
and you take care of them. But nobody's ever come. Like in all the years of having Christmas, no beggar has ever knocked on the door and asked for a plate of food, even though it's always been there for them, you know? But then these kittens come in July and I ignore them, you know, after believing in that tradition. It's just interesting, the
Yeah.
programming that sits in our head.
Well, you never know. Like it's like I believe I don't know. I believe in karma. You know, I think that that's very much real, and I believe in like different tests and different things. You know, coming your way throughout life, and um, that sounds to me like it was kind of like nature's way of testing. Like for some reason, those kittens were attracted to your door, and it's like, well, I don't know what those reasons are. Something happened there, but now it's on me. Like what, like the test is on me. Like, what am I going to do? What's my character? Like where am I going to like, you know, put my energy? What am I going to do about this? Am I going to ignore it? Am I going to wait for some, like, what am I, you know, so I would have done the same thing. I would have left some food out, you know, um, there's even a small chance that those kittens would be my kittens, you
Well, I
know?
didn't even have that chance because they just moved on. They were in the yard for a few days and then they just moved on.
Yeah.
Like the one the next day, they suddenly were not there anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they got the strength to grow up enough to hunt. I don't know. So
Well, it's very empowering and to be, and I know it's like a, some people might say, oh, they're just kittens, but it's like, it's not just about the kittens. It's about like the moral of the story is that, you know, you ignored a very powerful force in our own body and everybody's individual self. There's very powerful forces at play inside yourself. And whether or not those things are of your own design or prescribed into you by outside influences, that's where the real self knowledge comes in. And it sounds like your method again is like a brilliant way to kind of dismantle that and to see what's actually working and what's not, and like who's been doing what, and if it's really you or somebody else or whatever. And you know, not all not everything that you learn from outside sources is bad. It's just whether or not you are the one that's actually, dare I say, in control of yourself. Like you're talking about sovereignty and everything like that. So it's, I again, like I really, really enjoy these types of these methods of self-discovery, because in my line of work, like trying to teach people about voluntarism, it can be really difficult to can be really difficult to get the messaging through, because there's always the next question. Well, what about this aspect of authority? What about this aspect of government? What about this? What about that? And it's like, to me, it's always sounding a little bit like people don't want to step up. They are waiting for the authority to come by and get the kittens, and they don't want to do the right thing that they are very much in power to do, in their own way, non-violently and non-coercively toward other people or other living things. I'm not sure if there's really a question in this, or if I'm just like kind of talking to you at this
No,
point.
no, it's okay. It's okay. So I have a comment back to this. So you call yourself a voluntarist, right? But yet, if there is a time for decision making, whether to help somebody or whether to do something or how to do something, right? If you're allowing the voices in your head to go, and then you're going with that, right? You're not really a voluntarist. You're still being controlled. Whether, you might have forsaken the methods of control on the mental level, but if the voices are still in your head, and if you don't even know that they're controlling you, how can you possibly be free within you? And then the decision can still be made without those voices. You can just take it and, process it in your cognitive abilities. Hey, should I help the kittens? Would it be beneficial for me to help the kittens? Is it my responsibility? Referring back to the Bible and Genesis, maybe it is my responsibility to take care of the kittens, because it says to humans to take care of all the other creatures. So maybe I should be a steward in this earth and actually take care of the creatures of this earth. Like it behooves me as a human.
Yeah, well, that sounds like, kind of what I was alluding to, when it's like not all of it is evil. Some of the outside influences, maybe it's not of your original design as an individual, but maybe you are being influenced by something on the outside, and not all of that is evil.
No.
There's parables in the Bible that people can learn from, and it's extremely beneficial, but they're not sitting there, having philosophical debates in their own head to get to those conclusions themselves. They're digesting text that's existed for thousands of years to come to these conclusions, and I don't think there's anything bad about that at all. It's whether or not what I see happening is like an inculcation into obedience through like state-run schooling, and these things that are like obedience becomes a culture, and that to me seems very detrimental to human freedom in the long run. A little bit of you trade every so often, and the trade-offs keep getting bigger and bigger as more time goes on. And that I'm observing these trade-offs becoming larger and larger as time goes on. A little bit of freedom for a little bit of safety or security, and now it's like a lot of bit of freedom for a little bit of safety and security. It's like, it's really difficult to sit idly by and do absolutely nothing about it. But I mean, in order to be an effective agent of change, like you have to be right with yourself first in order to actually go out and do what's necessary in a peaceful and nonviolent manner. I guess peaceful and nonviolent are kind of synonyms, but
well, you have to understand what your circle of influence is, right? You may not have a circle of influence to decide, the Korean leaders' decisions about whatever. You know what I mean? You may not have the circle of influence to influence the decisions that your mayor is doing for the city, right? Maybe you don't have that much power. Maybe you can be an activist and influence those decisions. But like, think about where you have the power, where your power is best used, because you could spend 3 hours trying to convince somebody who is completely opposite in their views to yours that you're right. And in the end, you'll be exhausted and he'll be exhausted and nobody will move the opinion one way or another, because it's not the right, you're barking up the wrong tree. It's not the right thing to do. So like understanding how your circles of influence and how you can manage your power and use your power for the highest good. So talk to people or influence the people that are already almost on your side, that are coming over, that just need a little bit, that already are interested in, becoming voluntarists or opening their mind to how we're being controlled or things like that, versus trying to go to the opposite end and wasting your energy on somebody who's just not going to convert anyway.
Yeah, I think that's where I think, your teaching comes into play, is because I think even if somebody's not interested in becoming a voluntarist or an anarchist, honestly, Agnieszka, I think that it naturally follows after people learn what you have to teach, because when you become the prime authority over yourself through a method such as psychosomatic therapy, then you kind of naturally just reject outside authority, because you can see that it's not beneficial to you. And that's not to say that for instance, in case of an emergency, a leader steps up and says, I know what to do. And everyone goes, okay, that guy proved it last time, so I'm going to listen to him again. It's more so like, I guess people that are tuning into this would know by now that what I'm talking about when I say authority. So, what do you think about that? Could it be true that maybe voluntarism or anarchism naturally follow what you have to teach?
I mean, it depends how deep you want to go with the work, but no matter what, whether you're a voluntarist or anarchist or not, when you're exercising your circle, the epicenter of your circle of influence is yourself. So if you're able to analyze yourself, if you're able to see, because basically what happens with faith, okay, let me tell you this. When you have a thought, say you're standing by the window and you think, oh, that's my neighbor's dog. He's going to poop on my lawn again. He's out without the leash. Ugh, ugh. And you make that face, ugh, right? You make that face once, it's no problem. But if you make that same face every single day for a year, so like that's 365 times, there's going to be a mark on your face that you're making that face all the time. It's gonna leave a mark, right? So in psychosomatic therapy, one of the things we do, or in my courses, one of the things we do is we look at your own face. You look in the mirror, you look at your own face, and you look at the marks you've left on your face to see how you've been managing your energy, what you have a certain amount of energy every day. Where is it going? How are you managing that energy? Are you being mean to people? Are you being nice to people? Are you being judgmental? Are you being loving? Are you expressing your love? Are you holding your energy? Are you holding it back and not sharing with anybody? Are you giving away too much, so much that there's not enough for you? All of these things are written all over your face. So, and the craziest part is every single person out there can read it on some level, even if they can't logically say, oh, okay, this is this and this is that. They can still feel it. And that's why, like, oh, this person makes me feel weird or whatever. That's where that comes from.
Yeah, intuition is a powerful thing. Maybe I don't know, maybe it's not just intuition. Maybe it's something like, maybe it's something in our DNA that like we see it, sort of like how phobias are formed. Like there's these ideas that it's like ingrained in people's genetics and DNA. Like one of their ancient ancestors got bitten by a snake, and they know that they don't want to be bit by a snake again. So that's maybe why somebody might be afraid of snakes or whatever. It's not like exactly like a primal fear, but it's closely like related. It's maybe that's in there with the reading facial the lines on people's faces and stuff. You can see like, oh, that looks like somebody who's been angry a lot. Maybe I should steer clear of them. I've never thought of it like that. That's crazy.
Maybe I shouldn't date them.
I never thought of that before. I just thought like, I like, yeah, like I guess somebody who's like surprised a lot will probably have a lot of lines on their forehead because they're like, oh my God, like, so maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense because the lines on your hand get formed by the way that you close your hand. So, I mean,
Mhm.
it would make sense that the lines on your face get formed by the way that the facial expressions that you make most often.
So humans are excellent at pattern recognition. We don't even know how good we are at pattern recognition. We see the same, like, even if you're thinking about the amygdala, your reptilian brain, right?
Yeah.
You see the same shadow as you saw last time when you were in danger and suddenly you're on alert.
Yeah.
There's all these, so much pattern recognition. So exactly with when we're talking about uh looking at somebody's face, oh, is he nice or is he not? You still have that pattern recognition going back in behind your brain, so you can still tell what their proclivities are, but you cannot tell, like, once you study face reading and body reading, you can tell, oh, this posture means this, or this hand movement means this. It's very specific.
Yeah. People, yeah, we're definitely pattern recognition machines. And it's a tool. Pattern recognition is a wonderful tool. It lends to like critical thinking, and that's like the natural state, like a natural condition of being a human. And think sort of along the lines of like what Murray Rothbard said in one of his books about not the book was not about natural law, but in his book, he spoke about natural law. It's this one, For a New Liberty, the Libertarian Manifesto. And he's talking about, the natural condition of human beings is like critical thinking and being able to discover things. And that, in this being the case, like anything that's interfering with that is not beneficial. And it's like getting in the way of us, performing our natural duties. And pattern recognition is a part of that. So, yeah.
So it's not necessarily intuition. Like, you can have intuition on a high level or on low level, but the pattern recognition can still be trained. So basically, psychosomatic therapy does not depend on your ability to be sensitive or intuitive or energetically aware or anything like that. It has to do, like, it's basically formulaic. This means this and this means that. But you cannot read one trait. You cannot say, oh, her nose is like this, so that's what that means, because that trait doesn't actually mean anything unless it's compared to the other traits.
Okay.
It's like cooking almost,
Yeah.
like butter by itself does not mean cake, but butter with flour and eggs and milk, whatever, that may be cake.
Well, it depends on how hungry you are. I don't know.
It would still not be cake. It would be butter. You can eat butter, no problem, but it would not be cake.
What if
And
you're
if
in
you
a
tell
desert?
yourself butter is cake, then that's a different problem.
You ever see all right, so quick, side tangent here. You ever see one of those cartoons where like somebody's so hungry they start to hallucinate? Anyways, that's the only way butter can be cake.
Yeah, I've been there. I did a 23-day fast once. I can remember that.
But now you're speaking my language because I have a lot of history in the culinary arts. So now it's even making more sense where it's like these are the ingredients, and if you want to bake a cake, you need these ingredients, and then you need to mix them together in a certain order because it's kind of a scientific process where, especially with baking, it can be very scientific. So I don't know if the baking analogy really works out with this. Does it? Because like usually with some baking recipes, you want to mix some of the dry ingredients together first, and then some of the wet ingredients together next, and then mix those two. Now you have, four ingredients made into two, and now you're going to mix those two mixtures together. And so can it work?
So
like
the question would be for the recipe, who have you come here to be? Who do you want to become? See, there's a tragedy going on in our society right now with all this Botox and all that, because people have different faces, and sometimes certain wrinkles or lines on your forehead or between your eyebrows, they mean that there is like a communication open between your solar plexus and your mind. Energy and ideas are flowing freely through your chakras. And then the person gets Botox and they're like this, and They have no idea why their creative ideas are not flowing anymore, how they're not being able to express themselves, or even, if they do Botox around their lips, their ability to communicate with other people, or maybe people hearing them or listening to them, will be less. So, you just have to remember that you're messing with the whole system. And again, just like cake, you're replacing ingredients. Do you really want to do that? Because God put you here in this vehicle, in this body, for a specific reason. You're here to do a specific, mission, and you have this body, and in the meantime, you're supposed to enjoy life. So are you on your mission? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Is it working out for you? What's stopping you?
So now this is interesting, because what you just brought up about Botox and everything, it's got me thinking that, like, not only is this helpful for, say, you to read my face, like, and to do that, but also for my own personal benefit, to be able to have, like, these now these chakra systems, like, in the facial structure, or and to be able to have the different chakras communicate with one another like they would on the grander, like on the bodily scale. Now you're interfering with these chakras communications on, like, the facial scale, or on the, on the hand, or whatever. It's got me thinking about a bunch of different things. So, like, is that true? Like, is that what you're getting at? It's not just about maybe reading somebody else's face, but how their face communicates with itself. Is that?
How their face communicates what's going on inside.
Yeah.
Right. And if so sometimes, often, we're humans, we like to pretend things, everybody's a hero in their own story, and we're telling each other or ourselves stories about ourselves. So, I'm this and I'm that. But everything you're actually thinking is written on your face. So if you're studying face reading and body language, that can really open your mind to, like, oh, I have been grumpy, or I have been, playing or remembering negative things from the past, and living in the past in a negative way, instead of thinking about the positive things, the happy memories. I'm really wallowing, or the grief that I experienced 3 years ago is still written on my face. Maybe there's something I can do about it. So there's a lot of different things that you can find out about yourself, about how you manage energy, and then bring that back, that power, call that power back from wherever you've given it. You've given it to all these people and things and ideas, and, comparisons. Comparison is the enemy of creativity,
So just to kind of, I think I kind of was able to revise the question a little bit. I love what you just said, but, like, specifically, like, getting Botox, if a person were to get Botox, like, in their forehead, to, like, clear up the wrinkles or whatever, or, like, on the sides of their face for, like, crow's feet or whatever, would that interrupt the status of that chakra, the area that chakra is kind of not in control of, but connected to?
Yeah. Expression
Okay.
of, yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Again, I never, this is a completely new idea. I never put that together before. I never even heard
So,
of this before.
so here's a crazy thing. It works the opposite way too. You can change the way you think, and your face will change.
Yeah.
Basically, what you have been born, what you came here with, is your bone structure. All the harder the tissue, the more, like, legacy from you were born here to be this. So, like, if you're thinking about different bodies being vehicles, right? Some people are a Mack truck, and some people are a Ferrari, and I would be a comfortable SUV personally, but, like, with cool lights inside and stuff. That's what I imagine. But
I'd be a Ford Escort.
there you go.
Station wagon.
So they don't make mistakes upstairs. You came here in this body, but the soft tissue, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, the fascia, all of those things are completely malleable, and they can change the way you look completely. I've seen people transform incredibly. The last intro, number 6, where I showed the before and after pictures of people who have experienced psychosomatic therapy, It's incredible. It's on my YouTube channel, and if you sign up on my website for the intro sessions, you'll receive all 6 of the intro sessions, with that one being number 6. But yeah, the incredible transformations where people are, you don't even realize it's the same person. You would never, well, even for me, when they see my before pictures for psychosomatic therapy, they would not recognize me on the street. Absolutely. So
there's a lot of benefit to changing the way that you think. Like some people have a really good life and they don't they might not need this kind of help. But it's still an interesting skill to learn, and maybe everybody should get their feet wet with this type of thing, because there is a benefit, not just for yourself, but like, and what we learn in autonomy about trying to like read people and see where they're at and build a rapport and like really try to get to know the people that you're around. And in doing so, even it can even circle back to benefit you in the long run anyways, because you can kind of figure out if like maybe you're with the wrong crowd, like, and like, I got to move on because this is the wrong place for me, and that type of stuff. But yeah, for people that really feel lost, I feel like this could really help them.
Your thinking really influences your crowd as well.
Yeah.
Like your thinking influences everything about in your life. How you think, who hangs out with you, who your friends are, really depends on how you're thinking. If my thinking was diametrically strictly opposite to what it is now, you wouldn't be my friend. You'd be like, oh, that weird lady. You're my friend because you're crazy in the same direction as I am. And I like that about you. No, but you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
we're all so different, and we need to really understand ourselves. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you, we mentioned Botox, but excuse me. I know a couple ladies who had a breast reduction, but they didn't change the way they were thinking about others. So large breasts are about nurturing others and taking care of others and putting them first, and really, really, like, giving a hug to the whole world and all of that. So these ladies wanted to, change their breast, and they got a breast reduction, and then the breasts grew back. One lady I know, 3 times the breasts grew back. No matter how many times she tests, they just grow back because her energy is about nurturing and being mother to everybody and taking care of everybody. So those breasts are an expression of how she thinks, who she is.
That's interesting. Like, I would have just chalked it up to like genetics or something, but that's an interesting way of thinking about it as well. But about the thoughts, that there's like the kind of the holy inner trinity of like thought. Well, and one of them's sort of outward, and maybe 2 of them are outward, but thoughts, emotions, and actions. And it starts with thoughts very purposefully, because thoughts will influence your emotions, and both of those combined, add those together, and those influence your actions, and actions influence other people. And that so as individuals, our power is in our actions, but you have to understand how the equation kind of adds up, because in doing so, you'll understand how your influence reaches other people and what happens to them when they are exposed to your actions or emotions, because you express your emotions through actions, of course, but all of this starts in thoughts. And if you're looking at the Hermetic principles, and the first principle being the principle of mind, all is mind, then it's very purposefully laid out that way, because everything in existence first started as a thought or in a mind. And then it gets brought into creation. It gets brought into the world, either through invention or manifestation, or through some other means of creation, like childbirth.
It's even more visceral than that. So what happens is a lot of people have these thoughts inside, like, I'm an idiot, I'm a jerk, oh, I'm so stupid, oh, da 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 da, right? And they speak to themselves like that routinely with all these thoughts. I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot. But what happens, and they think it's secret, like nobody knows that I say that. But what happens is, the minute something happens in their life that's a situation of high stress, say their teenage son will wreck the car or something, they'll call him an idiot and stupid. And all of these names. So if you see somebody calling other people names like stupid, idiot, jerk, whatever, they're calling themselves that in their head first.
It's just a projection.
It comes out.
Yeah.
It's a standard in their inner world, in their inner kindergarten, what I call inner kindergarten, with the world of their brain. It's okay to speak like that to other people. And so as soon as there's high emotions, however it's okay to speak up here, it's going to come out your mouth.
This is why it's important. I mean, again, it's so important and it's, man, maybe some people would be like, well, this just sounds really selfish. And it's like, well, there's a benefit. It's like righteous selfishness where it's like, I'm doing
What
this.
sounds selfish?
What? All of this self-work and everything like that. Some people might hear this and not understand what it's really.
Oh, you'd rather call your child an idiot?
No. I
But
mean,
that
like,
that would be the alternative. If you don't do the work on yourself, if you don't become aware of what you're doing, how you're doing to yourself, it'll spill out on other people.
yeah,
So there's no point in helping your children, spending time with your, well, I mean, that's a little extreme, but like there's no point in worrying about other people if you don't worry about yourselves first. Remember that whole airplane and put your oxygen mask first, because like
yeah,
dead, you're no good to anybody, that kind of thing.
right. Then that's what I mean is like you gotta in order to take care of others, at some point you need to take care of yourself first. And that's what I'm trying to kind of talk about for just very briefly is that like there are certain types of selfishness that are just fine. And this like kind of this radical selflessness is kind of damaging to like the people around you in certain ways, because what you're talking about with like negative self-talk and and all of the ways that kind of manifests into reality as like the way you impact others is also negative. You got to work you got to there's a I don't know if you ever heard of this song, this band called Gojira. It's a metal band. It's like really heavy metal, really good stuff. And I forget the name of the song, but there's a lyric from one of their songs, and it's very simple but very powerful. It's like, if you change yourself, you change the world. And it's like sung with like, but it's not just the lyric; it's the way it's sung with such power and force and just ferocious, just and I wish I could do it, but I can't. That's George. That's little baby George.
Hello, baby George.
He's over there trying to sing.
Nice. You can't really hear him, just a little bit while you were talking.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a very 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 powerful sentiment of like self work and like, but I guess it gets a little. It's important to keep in mind that it's not just about the self, but the intent is to be a better influence on your surroundings and a better person in the world.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you really take your role as a human coming to this earth and creating a better place seriously, that's what you'd want to do. You wouldn't want to perpetuate. And the whole schooling system, as we know, is being created for control, not for. If the schooling system was there to make the creativity, you excel creatively and you be the best business person and you make the most money, it would not be set up the way it is set up. The reason we all questioned the schooling system as children is because it's messed up, and it creates all sorts of limitations and false belief systems in a human, because it's so many hours of programming all the way up till high school or even university. And so then you come out and you try to double check that information against reality, and often it's like, whoa, what's going on here? They taught me this, but there's no evidence. The evidence belies the training, the teaching.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because there's a public school that I drive past a few times throughout the week, and they have the sign out front where they can change the letters and like put up different messages and stuff like that. And for the last few weeks, it's been the same message, and it just says, "A curious mind is a powerful thing," and in front of a public school. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what you're trying to you're trying to school out of people. Like it's ironic that they would put that on the front of their building.
But it's part of the control, because we live in an upside down world. So they're like, this is healthy with the most unhealthy thing. Like, go to the grocery store and look at the healthy dose of vitamin C or whatever product that's like the most as unhealthy ascorbic acid and sugar mixture. Notice the things that say healthy in the grocery store. Most of them are not really healthy at all. The healthy things are the one ingredient things that don't say anything on them at all, like tomatoes.
Right.
Well, some people would argue with me that tomatoes are not good for you, but hey.
Or like a package of almonds, and you flip it around and it's like ingredients, almonds.
That's right. One ingredient. I'm really big on one ingredient foods. Go to the store and buy things that are one ingredient. I had one person say to me, but they're one ingredient foods don't exist because everything's got an ingredient list. And I told him he's shopping in the wrong parts of the grocery store.
Well, if people want to do that, they should go and do that. But at least just know that perhaps it's poisonous and it's not really helpful. And it's okay to eat tasty food every now and then. I mean, why not? But I mean, just should be conscious of it. Like,
you can have a dessert that doesn't have propylene glycol in it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Red dye number. Like, you can have a dessert that's got flour, butter, and eggs in it, but not necessarily red dye number, whatever, and propylene glycol, and all of these things that are completely unnecessary in a cake.
I thought we were talking about reading people's facial expressions and body language. What the hell does diet have to do with any of that?
Well, the diet, it's back to the kindergarten. It's back to the kindergarten, because if your kindergarten is run properly, are you going to feed the kids in your kindergarten chemical infused cake? Or are you going to take some attention and maybe don't have cake as often, but when you do have cake, have a real cake that's got real ingredients in it? Like, how do you want to raise the child inside your mind? Because inside you, there's the inner father, the inner mother, and the child, right? We have a masculine side and a feminine side, and we have the inner child in our body. So inside of you, all of these personages already exist. So if you were to step into an inner kindergarten or really activate the inner kindergarten for yourself, would those parents, would your inner parents allow you to eat chemicals? Is that part of your ideology?
Well, even on a developmental level, the way that the brain and body develop is, I mean, that's old saying of like, you are what you eat, is very much true. Me and my friend Sean even named an episode of our old podcast that at one point when we were talking about this very subject about, the way that hormones are created and the way the gut, kind of dictates the rest of it, and like the endocrine system and how all of these things are, it's a delicate balance, and what you put in is what you get out. And so in order to have, on this journey of self-discovery, in order to have like a really good outcome, or at least wins along the way, because I don't know if there really is an outcome in the sense of like a finish line, because by the time you reach the finish line, you kind of punch out, you know what I mean? But if go ahead.
Think about this. You were born to this world, and lots of well-meaning people were telling you how to do, who to be an accountant, not an artist, do this, do that, make sure you have good grades, don't go outside because you need to have homework, and all of these things, all of these programming bits. And so now you're an adult, and you start to realize that your parents didn't have your talents, your abilities, your proclivities, your interests. They didn't have your intelligence. They might be smarter or not as smart, but they didn't have your intelligence. They didn't have all of the ingredients that you have. So how could they have raised you properly? How could they have raised you the way you want to be raised if they don't have the basic ingredients for that? But you know who does? You do. You have all of the basic ingredients to raise yourself right, to create the grown-up that you've always wanted to be. But in order to do that, you have to take the reins, take the power away from your parents, your grandparents, your teachers, your friends, your social system when you were a child. All of these people who are well-meaning and they tried to raise you as best they could, they've done a good job. You know how to tie your shoes, you know how to put on a shirt, it's on the right side out, you know, you're good. Now it's time to step up and run that kindergarten for yourself. And you know, and maybe in the kindergarten or in the society that you were brought up, maybe it was okay to eat cake with red dye, but maybe when you think about it, and especially this is for neurodivergent people, because the red dyes and the chemicals really mess with their brains. Yeah. So having clean diet and choosing, you know, this cake is red and this cake is white, I'm going to choose the white cake that doesn't have the chemicals in it. You know, even that kind of small decision can make a big difference for your kindergarten.
Well, Agnieszka, we're going to have to do this again sometime because we could go on and on and on.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. It's been wonderful having you. Please tell the audience, whoever's interested, how to get in touch with you, your website, all that great stuff. Please plug your work, and right. I'll make sure that they can go to the description or the show notes or whatever you call it out there in listenership land and find the links, and please go and give Agnieszka a shot and learn more about what she has to offer and see if it's right for you, if it piques your interest, and get over there and learn what you can from Agnieszka, because I don't think she needs me to tell everybody, but she has a lot to teach people, and she's a wonderful, wonderful teacher. So please take it away, and we'll say goodnight.
All right. So my website is Own Your Body Language, and there you can find the link for signing up for the free intro sessions, which were just concluded. There are 6 replays, 6 about an hour to an hour and a half replays on YouTube. So you can certainly check that out. And when you fill out the form, you'll get not only the replays, but also all the manuals that I made for those 6 sessions. And now, starting this week, so this week is going to be really, really fun. So these classes run every single Thursday, and they run twice. One is at 1 p.m. Eastern, and the other one is at 8 p.m. Eastern. And they're both the same classes because I'm teaching some European people in the earlier one, and the evening one is for the Americas. So right now what we're having labs, face reading and body reading labs. So all of the manuals that I created for the 6 intro sessions are available there for free. You can download them and you can come and enjoy the lab for free. There's no charge for anything until March 19th. On March 19th, the paid classes will start, and that'll be the face reading and body reading deep dive, sovereign body language. That's what the class is called. And from that day on, we're going to be studying every Thursday for about 6 months. So it's going to be one monthly charge for $111 a month. So it's not even expensive. And you can read faces and you can read bodies at the end of the 6 months. And it's, every Thursday, we have a new class so that's starting March 19th. But right now, this week, this is the exciting part. Moon landing. We're going to be examining the footage where the astronauts came down from the moon landing, and they're in the press conference. And we're going to be looking at the body language of all of these astronauts and using our manuals for the intro sessions. And you can watch, I'll be analyzing them with the students as well. We're going to be analyzing what we see in the different gestures, postures, and facial expressions of the moon landing astronauts. So that's this coming Thursday. So if you sign up, you're going to get the email and the reminder email and the link before next Thursday.
All right. So that's Thursday, January 22nd.
That's right.
Excellent. And it's ownyourbodylanguage.com.
That's right. I'm going to double check it.
You have a YouTube channel as well called Restore Humanity, Radical Empathy.
Yes, but you're going to get the links. If you sign up on the website, you're going to get the links to that. So you don't have to really remember that. It's easier to remember Own Your Body Language. And then, like I said, all the manuals, all the replays that you need for these intro sessions from the intro sessions will be available, will be in your inbox within an hour.
Excellent. Well, Agnieszka, thank you so much for letting me interview you and having this awesome conversation.
Thank you so much.
Been very eye-opening. Seriously,
Awesome.
really awesome.
Thank
And
you very much.
I'll see you in one of the other well, not other, but another meeting for autonomy or something along the way. I'm excited to
Probably
talk to
see
you
you
again.
tomorrow. Yes. All right. Thank you very much for interviewing me. Enjoy.
All right. Give it up for Agnieszka Evenson. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. And, once again, go over to ownyourbodylanguage.com and check it out and, see what she has to offer. It's really empowering and it's really life changing to, step out of your comfort zone and do some of that hard introspective work. It's really, oh man, it's very uplifting and it builds your strength. And that's what we need going forward. My heart's been pretty heavy the last couple of weeks with everything that's been going on in this country with the increase in, immigrations and custom enforcement activity in like Minnesota, for instance, and I guess all over the country, and it just seems to me that the evidence is in front of us more now. And I mean, maybe it's just me and being as aware of things as I am. And I got to pat myself on the back for that, because compared to some other people out there, they're not very aware of what's going on and they don't do any of the introspective work and they don't think about anything other than their own self-preservation. And that's a really sad position to be in life. And so I implore people to kind of just, step out of their comfort zone and do a little bit of that introspective work. We have the evidence in front of us that there's a lot of adolescents still in the population. And it's pretty sad. I'm going to leave it there. Go to my website, voluntaryistacademy.com. Support the channel any way you can. Like, subscribe, share it around, do all those things. And if you can do more than that, figure that out at voluntaryistacademy.com/donate and or become a sponsor. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And remember, when you're on your way out, remember on your way out that you own yourself, period. No one else owns you. You're not a slave. We need to break out of that mindset and really come into some self-ownership. And yeah. So, and last but not least, been making sure to do this little shout out here for all the people that listen over on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts on the RSS feed. Come on over to the YouTube channel and check it out and show some support over there. If there's anybody in the audience that is able to maybe volunteer and volunteer some time to help me with some video editing or some posting or publishing videos on other platforms, I am strapped for time. And this is a really hard ask because I want to be able to do it all myself. But keeping it to the end of the broadcast here, if there's anybody that has time to just simply upload videos onto like Rumble or BitChute or Odyssey, reach out to me at the contact page at voluntaryistacademy.com and or drop a comment on this video and let me know, if there's any, because there's a backlog. It's a really big backlog. And if YouTube ever were to, pull the plug on my channel, not that there's really anything that I'm not too worried about it, anything on my channel being worthy of being, the thing that pulls the plug. But in case it ever were to happen, I wouldn't want, I don't know. It would be horrible. So I can't pay you, but you'd be helping a good cause, and it's completely up to you guys out there. But yeah, I mean, I mean to make this show more widely available to people. And like I said, I am very strapped for time. So I'm going to stop crying about that. I put the word out. Let's see if anybody responds. I'd like to thank Who to Thunk It in the chat tonight. I'd like to thank Rip Me 6616 in the chat tonight. Thank you guys for being in there. That's great. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week with part 2 of my presentation series of The End of All Evil by Jeremy Locke. You own yourself. Self-ownership. You own yourself.